Yeah, I want to talk about how we are late in the game. Okay. And when I say late in the game, and the reason why some people might be panicking, I don't know what they're really doing, honestly. I haven't tuned into anything really. But just as far as what I've seen before, as far as the messages of stocking up and all that stuff, which I do understand, I understand saving money. I definitely get all of those things. The only thing I disagree with is a lot of those people don't talk about spirituality too much. They don't talk about the spiritual part, covering themselves, just constantly relying on the physical. So stock up, get your money right, stock up, have extra food. If you are not covered spiritually, if you haven't found a way to work on increasing your spirituality, increasing your spiritual strength, and then whatever you try to do for yourself in the physical to make sure you're comfortable could crumble because the spiritual world has already been determined, and it just manifests in what you would call time because it's slower. So everything that's happening right now, everything you see has already been manifested. Has already been done in the spiritual realm probably several months to a year ago. And it's finally manifesting right now where you can see it with your false eyes. Okay? The eyes that all of us use to see this illusion. Okay? So that's why I'm always against just only talking about preparing physically. Because they act like there is no spiritual world and everything happens in the spiritual first. And if you're not aware of what's going on with you, when I say you, I'm speaking in general. If you are not aware of what's going on with you in the spiritual realm, and you're just trying to prepare physically to try to call yourself being prepared, you never know how that's going to go because you never got any direction from spirit to see what's really going to happen. Maybe this could see, like I said, people get deja vu. And maybe you did that exact thing before. Maybe you did stock up on a bunch of groceries. Maybe you did save your money good and something happened. Maybe you did have a bunch of cash put to the side and stuff just in case something happened to your credit cards and debit cards. You might have a bunch of cash stored up in your house. Something happened to your house, your house started burning. The area where all your money is in, it burns. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody. This has happened to people before. Like I lived in LA, in the area where one of my patients lived, they have those California fires. It's always in the same place in Los Angeles. And it's like in LA County still, but it's in like, what's the name of it? I don't want to get into too much into it, but like Sherman Oaks. Not Sherman Oaks. I forget now because it's been so long since I've been there. But yeah, it's more like the valley area where a lot of those fires are in Los Angeles, and more in the valley area close to the Woodland Hills, and stuff like that. Anyway, I think this guy lived out that way. And his whole house just burnt down. He lost everything he had. Now, that's not to say that happens to everybody. My point is, you don't know what kind of stuff this guy has stocked up in his house. He could have been a prepper. He could have had a bunch of stuff stocked up in his house. Now, I never got into buying too much and storing it up in one place at one time because I haven't been in one place at one time for too long. I haven't been in one place for too long. Even though I've lived in California, I lived in like LA for 10 years, and then I left outside of LA after 2020, and it was before the lockdown. But in early 2020, I decided I didn't want to live in LA anymore, and I didn't even realize it was going to be a lockdown when I made that decision. I just decided to leave Los Angeles. But I'm still in Southern California, not too far from it, so I'm basically still about 2 hours away, not too far away. But my point is that you just never know what can happen to you. You can never know what happened to your finances. A lot of people in 2020, 2021, and maybe even this year has gotten evicted from their apartments, lost their houses, and all kinds of stuff. And how you can't keep stocking up when you don't know where you're going to lay your head. You all of a sudden evicted. What if those people would have stocked up? So I'm going to get off of that. But that's just the point I was making, is that it's really best to improve the spiritual strength instead of just preparing physically, because you don't know how that's going to turn out. Now, what I'm saying also about at the beginning when I said that why we are so late in the game, okay, why we are so late in the game, it's because I was just listening to something and it made me think about what I'm about to say now. So, of course, he was talking about God, the Christian God, and talking about how he is the all. He can supply us with everything that we need because he is everything. Guess what? That's us. We are the all too. We lack nothing because we are everything there is. We are everything there is. But because we have seen ourselves as just such individuals as an ego, as an individual person, an ego, and we've been separated. We're literally mentally, we've been separated from everything there is because we believe we're just physical individuals. So we've been separated from everything there is. That's why you have so much lack going on, because a lot of people have not realized that they are the all, and really the physical world is an illusion. They are the all. Everything that there should be no lack because they are the all. But most people have the consciousness, and this is not a criticism, most people have the consciousness of being an individual. And so when you have the consciousness of being an individual instead of the consciousness of being the all in everything there is, then you experience lack because of the way the mind is programmed since childhood and since birth, really, for most people in the world. The mind is programmed from birth that you were an individual physical person with a name and all this stuff and a personality and everything else, right? And then you go to school, you get an education or whatever you do to make sure that you can make some money when you grow up and pay your bills and take care of your children. So all this, telling people to get your education, do all this and do all that so you can get a good job. You shouldn't need to go get a good job. You shouldn't even be working. The only type of work people should be doing is going out, gathering their food or gathering whatever they need for light or whatever it is. That's the only kind of work people should be doing. There should be no work to make money or going to get somebody else's education. Learn something somebody else's way, the way they created their own matrix, and the matrix, the way that this particular matrix was created was based on a collective's programming. Okay, so the way this particular matrix has been is based on the collective agreeing to something. So it's based on the collective's programming. Okay. And other than that, like if the collective didn't agree to all of these things that a lot of these rulers wanted to push, the matrix will be a lot different. You'll see a different matrix. If the collective wanted to operate on love and higher and gratitude and joy and reject all of this currency and having to work for money, if the collective already knew that they were the all, the word lack wouldn't even exist, and the people that's in power wouldn't even be able to exist because they're vibrating too low. But all of our lives, we have been told to look to something outside of ourselves for whatever we need, whether it is the Christian God, whether it is other religions like Allah or whatever other religion is. It is Jehovah, still, whatever other religion it is, where they're looking to something outside of themselves, because it's not just about Christianity. Christianity is just one of the biggest religions around the world. Okay, that's one of the most popular religions around the world. And that's why so many people hop on Christianity. But to be honest with you, it's no more of a psychosis in getting into Christianity. It's no more of a psychosis than any of those other religions where you're looking to something outside of yourself to get everything you need. Anytime you constantly, even if it's your own mother. Even if, like, some people think their mother is God or their father is God, and they're going to give them everything they want. Right? Anytime you constantly look to something outside of yourself for everything you need, there's just a problem. There's a problem because there's a lack of self-confidence. That's what I was going to get into with a different upload. That's called a lack of self-confidence. So most people in the world lack self-confidence. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm even talking about myself. The fact that you might have to work or do other things to get money or just even have to deal with this system still is a lack of self-confidence. Because self-confidence has to do with a belief that you are not an individual. That could be a role you play. So it's like you have to mentally detach from the physical, what you believe to be a physical world, because it's an illusion. You got to detach from what you think is the physical body, because that's an illusion. You got to detach from it. Even if you got things to do, most of us going to have things to do every day. But the thing is you have to make a daily routine of detaching from it. That's kind of what meditation is all about, detaching from the physical world. And the more and more you practice detaching from the world, you start to really get to see things for what they really are. You know? Anyway, yeah, so I think that's all I want to say. Yeah. Most people are panicking. Most people are trying to wonder what they're going to do for water, although their body is 70% water and the earth is supposedly 70% water, but the earth is the physical realm, so our bodies are earth. Supposed to be 70% water. There's nothing but water. We're underwater. I made a previous video about what that word slave on Prince's face really mean. And I used the example of that Matrix and how the character of Lawrence Fishburne told Neo that he was really a slave. You know, because he think what he smell and all of that stuff is real, but it's really a reality that's pulled over him, and he doesn't realize that he's not really in control. He think he's using his own personality. He think his thoughts are his own. That's another thing. Your thoughts are not your own. Those thoughts are already created, and those thoughts are in the algorithm. Your thoughts are not your own. The Bible is not lying when it says that, but it's not completely telling you where those thoughts are coming from, but your thoughts are really not your own. So a lot of people that think they're coming up with their original thoughts. Now, unless you get into a higher mind where you get into a lot of creativity and stuff, you know, you get it outside of your ego into a higher mind, then that's a little bit more original. But other than that, most people are operating in their ego. Most people are not in a higher mind, or else what you see, you wouldn't see. So most people are not in a higher mind. You have some people that's in a higher mind. Okay? Anyway, yeah, so that's it. So yeah. But yeah, we're basically underwater. I saw that when I do certain meditations sometimes when I used to do them. And I used to come out of a body of water. And I would be a bird though. And I would come out of a body of water. But birds means like those are spirits. I believe that's what I heard. You see birds as really spirits. And I come out of a body of water and I see a sun in front of me. And always it's like a never-ending ocean that I see. There's never any land. I come out of a big body of water. And so when this thing was explaining the Matrix and stuff, they used the example of how Lawrence Fishburne called Neo a slave. It's because he doesn't realize that he's really being controlled. He doesn't realize that he's in a matrix. He thinks everything he's doing is just basically on his own will. He doesn't understand that everything he does is already pre-planned, but he thinks he's doing something new. But there's nothing new under the sun. You know, and use the example of it's like two fish in the water. You try to tell them you want the outside looking in, and you can see those two fish in water. But you tell those two fish they in water, they think you're crazy. But you looking clearly and you see they in water. And then I kind of started to say, wait a minute, we're underwater. We're underwater. Because every time I would do something, it was like last year this would happen a few times. I would come out of the water and I would see like a never ending ocean, like it was water everywhere. I would never see land, almost like how the Bible described the flood. I did not see land anywhere. So that means I came completely out of not only the matrix, I came out of the virtual reality. But I've done that a couple of times. But sometimes it's hard to stay out because there still needs to be. This is where a high level of awareness needs to come in. You reach certain things during the meditation that can pull you out. But honestly, where your conscious awareness is, if it's still somewhere attached to a physical world, you end up going back in. Okay, so yeah, but no, it looked like the flood. I mean, like I saw a never-ending ocean, and then I saw a sun in front of me, which I know what the sun is. And so we're the fish in water, but there's a threat of running out of water. There's a threat of never having enough water, because we have been duped, and I'm done after this. We have been duped. We have been programmed to only see ourselves as individual physical people and not see ourselves as the all. And because we don't see ourselves as the all, we're constantly trying to manifest and do all that. You don't even need to manifest. If you see that you are the all, if you have a daily practice of a consciousness of being the all, you wouldn't have to even do any kind of magic, candles or whatever you do to manifest it, because you will have it with that type of mentality that you are the all. But what you have to do is purge a lot of religion. You have to purge religion, but you also have to purge the world, because a lot of people in the world have a mindset of a physical body in a physical world and working for money, even if they are truly spiritual in the way of talking to their ancestors and, they believe in their higher self. And I get that, but they still have a mindset of a physical world, even though they know it's beyond that. But it's like, it's one thing to know, and then you have to do something about it. It's like you can have knowledge that you're an alcoholic. Okay, now you finally come into the awareness that you're an alcoholic. Now what? You got to do something about it. So when you come into the awareness and that the physical world is really an illusion, then you have to do something about it. You have to do something to change it. It's no different. It's going to be harder. But it's no different. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. But it's no different than somebody who wants to quit smoking, or somebody who wants to stop drinking alcohol, or somebody who wants to just change whatever else it is, a problem they have. It takes, just like getting out of that problem, takes a lot of work. Getting out of the illusion of a physical world takes work. So in 1 minute there's awareness, and then you have to do something about it. Anyway, that's all I got to say, and I'll talk later.